Good morning students, welcome to LEELA'S tutorial. In last class we have discussed about development of livestock genomics. So how you are going to develop the livestock? The first thing is you have to know about their complete animal genes, then the genome analysis, then you are going to check for the EBV values. What do you mean by EBV? EBV is nothing but estimated breeding value. So again, all these conditions, why you are going to perform the genomics or genetic analysis of that particular organism in order to know whether it is an superior variety, and then you are going to give it the merit or the ranking to that particular animal, right? So here let us see in detail how the estimated breeding value is implied in case of genetic improvement of the animals. So here EBVs are the estimates of an animal genetic merit for particular trait. So mainly EBV is not done in between the different breeds, right? EBV must be always compared between the similar or the particular breeds but not the different breeds. Then here you have, it indicates how it will progress in the further generations. So in last class we have discussed that the livestock, whatever you have developed, it must retain the characters for the decades. It is not for the single generation. You want to modify or develop your livestock so that it performs better in further generations also. So here progeny will progress in further generations. So here let us see what are the factors, right? What are the EBV factors that must be observed in the animal in order to give it a merit, right? So the first factor or the EBV factor for the genetic improvement program is fertility. So fertility, it is mainly you are going to check in the male animals or the bulls, right? In the male animals you are going to check the scrotal size. At what age you are going to check that? It is at 400 days of age, right? So when you check the scrotal size at 400 days of age of a bull, it must be having increased scrotal circumference, right? So what is the use of that increased circumference? It will result in increased semen production, right? So if the bull is having increased scrotal circumference, then that bull is capable of producing more number of sperms, right? That is increased semen content which consists of sperms in turn, right? So here in case of male you are going to check the fertility, right? Then the second EBV factor is calving, right? Calving is observed in female animals. You are going to take the cow, right? So here you are going to see what is the day to calving, right? The calving is nothing but giving birth to a calf, right? So here what happens here? When it is able to give birth to a calf within very low time, that means the gestation period. What do you mean by gestation? Gestation is a period from the day of conception to the delivery period, right? So here you can see the short gestation results in low weight of the calf, right? If the gestation period is very short, then the calf weight will be low. If the gestation period is very long, then what happens? The calf or the baby will increase in its size, right? Then it will be difficult for the calving to the mother animal. So what is necessary here? The short gestation and low weight of the calf is required so that the mother animal will calve easily, right? So it will result in improved calving ease and also it will be ready for the next breeding. Okay, so it will result in improved calving ease and rebreeding process. Okay, so here what is favorable now? It is low calving EBVs are more favorable. In case of male animals, you are going to check the scrotal circumference, and in the female animals you are going to check the calving ease, right? So that they will be ready for the next breeding program. Then coming to the third EBV factor, that is weight, right? So the weight of the animal is checked at the birth time, right? At the birth time, the weight must be low because we are preferring here low gestation and low birth weight of the calf is favorable for us. So here in this case also, the birth weight of the animal must be low or moderate. Then after 200 days, 400 days, 600 days, you are going to check the weight where it should be having high increased growth. Then at 5 years of age, you call it as a mature cow where it has to reach to the maximum weight. Okay. Then apart from the weight, you are going to check for the increased milk production. The cow has to produce more amount of milk and low food intake. It is not that you are not going to provide any food to the animal. You are going to provide complete nutritional quality food, but the animal must consume less and it must produce increased milk, right? Then it must have increased reproductive rate. When it will have increased reproductive rate? When the gestation is very short, right? When the gestation is very short and if it is giving birth to a low weight calf, then it will be ready for the next breeding purpose, so that it will be having increased reproductive rate. The number of calves in its lifetime, it will give birth to the more number of calves, right? Then it is the docility. The docility must be high. What do I mean by docility? It is the behavior of the animal when handled by humans, right? It must be very soft to the humans, right? So the increased docility is favorable for livestock. Then next one is increased structural soundness. What do you mean by structural soundness? That means to see it must be a huge animal, right? It must have complete strong muscles and also it must have a huge body, right? That means you are going to check whether that animal is getting adjusted to the new environment. When it is getting adjusted to the new environment, the growth and the size of the animal will also be high, right? Apart from that, in structural soundness, you are going to check the feet and the feet angle, right? And claws. Like that, you are going to check the animal's legs and all, right? So here, the physical fitness is observed in case of structural soundness. Is that clear? Then the next EBV factor is carcasses. So here all these factors or all these EBV factors are observed when the animal is live. Whereas here in case of carcasses, here they are checking its ability, right? Or they are checking the meat, right? Because after the death of the animal, they want only the meat production, right? Before, when it is live, they want reproduction and the milk production. Where after the death, they go for the meat, right? So here they check that after the death of the animal, it should weigh more, right? So increased carcass weight is preferred, and also the eye muscle area must be high, right? Then intramuscular fat must also be high, and fat depth, either it must be very high or it must be very low, right? The moderate ones are not ranked or not given the merit. So after the death of the animal, the fat depth must be very high or it must be very low. Then finally, the shear stress must be low. The shear stress is nothing but the muscle, right? So here, after the death of the animal, the shear or the meat, that must be very much tender. If the shear stress is high, the tenderness will be lost, right? So here what they want, after the carcasses, the shear stress of that muscle should be very low, so that you get the tender meat from that particular animal. So based on all these EBV factors, you are going to give the merit to that particular breed. You are going to compare only between that specific breed only, not between one breed to the other breed, right? You are going to compare only the animals belonging to the same breeds. So like going to give ranking to the animals based on these EBV factors, and then you're going to genetically improve the livestock. Is that clear? So EBV is one of the development program in livestock development. If you have any doubts in this topic, put it in comments. If you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe.